to like take that one step further. They get one. That unlocks Invictus Gaming to potentially get the other two of the three that you just mentioned. And it's entirely on them what they would like to do with their team comp. Of course, at the moment, the Ty is giving his best Amazing J impression.
Not quite locked in yet.
And again, this is 5.16, so Garen is fairly strong on this patch, but we just want to point out that Amazing J played Garen before he was meta.
Yeah, before it was cool, that's for sure. As we do have the Azir, so what do IG want to answer with? Looks like Zatai and Kakao having some fun. Mashing the random button, back to the Garen, flashing the Quinn.
Always Garen.
He's going to play Quinn.
Zatai will do these things, and I'm not like, he's obviously like, he's a character, he likes to have fun, but don't think that he won't play crazy. He does lock in the gangplank, and it's going to be Braum as well.
Wow.
I actually really like purple side on this patch, just because there are so many power picks, and so you have to think priority pick is always going to be incredibly important, but immediately from purple side, like I think Spawn said it on the last cast, there's not 6 bans for 5.16, there's like 12 bans. And so purple side, you kind of get the 1-2 power punch.
Yeah, and you get that last pick as well now, because there's so many champions available for the power picks. You get that last option to see what their entire hand is and choose what you would like for your set role. In this case, potentially Rookie on that middle lane.
Well, we do have the GP there. It's going to be denied from Porno that already has Azir, so probably not too upset. Braum, a strong takeaway. Arguably the best first pick support in this particular meta. And Clearlove probably wants to take a jungler. Gragas wouldn't be a bad deny. He's played Elise reasonably well today as well. And Lulu's still open. They'll take the Kog'Maw, and they'll get Elise as well.
I feel like that forces Invictus Gaming's hand to pick up the Lulu.
It seems to want to force them into an Ashe as well. It's something that just goes hand in hand with Elise
Just
at the
love
moment.
Ashe,
But at the same time, at least this time they have Braum, so they're not picking the Ashe into the Braum.
And yeah, so it's banned, so don't have those problems. But Ashe's already locked in, I believe, there for Kid. We're having Rookie maybe considering a champion now as well as he hovers that Victor. Options are plenty, like you said, on this red side. And IG, they've had so many good games in a row as far as champion select is concerned. How do they navigate the rest of this? Because the EDG's comp, as it stands right now, very powerful.
Surprising they want to go for the mid lane pick here as well, because that implies they want to counterpick the jungle, and that isn't necessary if you consider that Rookie has the pocket Ahri even to go an assassin style of champion. He doesn't have a whole lot of champions left, but he wants to lock in this to deny that from Pawn, but he's already got the Azir, so he just wants a comfort pick.
Seems like there's a piece that's missing maybe. Is Deft grabs Annie for a second. Go through a couple of mage champions. Maybe he's making suggestions to Mako in the bottom lane, but Mako going to settle on something relatively quickly. And we do need, I think, a top laner for Amazing J. We've seen his ult left once today already. He's going to lock it in, or Deft is. We'll move that into the top side. Does Mako want Thresh to complete this bottom lane, or does he want something with a bit more roaming? A bit more mid and late game potential as well. We'll have to find out.
And Olaf is just going to be a straight response. Anytime you see an Ashe, Olaf should be your go-to pick. Her control means nothing to him, her slow means nothing to him, and he's just going to punch her repeatedly in the face.
Yeah, and there's the Alistar as well. So, again, pretty passive lane here, but should be fine against the Braum Ashe. Relatively farm-heavy duo for both of them. And EDG are done. That comes picked, and I have to agree on the Ashe Olaf thing, but IG, they will have their last pick, and it does seem to be jungle, like you mentioned, Rusty.
Yeah, I think the funny thing about EDG's comp, and you mentioned the Alistar and Kog'Maw not being that great of a lane, but the best thing about Alistar into that is you can just engage. It doesn't really matter. The shield, the Braum shield does nothing against an Alistar. He's still going to headbutt and pulverize you. So in terms of support matchups, that's great. And then you've got the Ashe. So naturally not that great of a laner, has really high base damage on spells and a lot of poke, but Kog'Maw can match that completely. So yes, their comp is still good. It's maybe not as great as Invictus Gaming, but that is going to be interesting.
Well, they did want to last pick the jungler. Kakao might have had something specific in mind for this particular game. We've seen it banned a lot away from Swift over on Xiaogu, but Kakao's going to go back to it. Seems like Nidalee will be the final pick here for Invictus Gaming.
And with that, I would like to label IG's comp as a siege composition, is what it looks like to me. Braum is very good at sieging towers. If he can get on the other side of them, put up his wall, you have great wave clear and control with Victor, as well as threat of the gravitational field behind the tower. Ashe can burn through towers very quickly with her attack speed. You have the primal surge coming out of Nidalee. Just everything works together perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Siege, it's got a hint of counter-engage and a pseudo-protect.
A pinch of pseudo-protect?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything.
I see some notes of pick potential there, too.
Not quite a sentence, but we'll run with it. EDG and IG have selected their comps here for Game 1. Don't forget, we had best of 3s earlier this evening, but a best of 5 now between these two. So game one always important to determine momentum, and both teams again have drafted well. EDG, I think this is a very comfortable draft for them, especially given that they do have Amazing J in the top lane instead of Koro. And IG, it's different, but it's still a solid comp.
And you have a lot of versatility with both of these compositions. I want to speak to EDG's comp a little bit. You have a lot of protect the AD carry because you do have a long-range threat like a Kog'Maw. Azir is going to offer him a lot of utility and protection with the Emperor's Divide. And then you have great backline dive threat on top of that. So you have the Olaf, you have the Janitor and Elise, you have the Alistar.
So that's the big difference between these teams, though, is EDG's got very strong siege, but it's more dive. It's not just siege the turret down. It's get in a position and just kill you.
Seen a lot of diving today, certainly from EDG, as we go through our matchups. Pawn there on the Azir, very strong power pick, but Rookie's going to take Victor into it, a matchup we haven't seen in a while, but it's fairly popular. And Deft on more of the late game carry. We've seen him play very aggressively today with Mako as Kid takes Ashe, but Mako's on Alistar this time, as Kiddies is on Braum duty.
We mentioned the lane in particular, so the Alistar and the Braum favors Mako to a degree, but that level 1 strength of this bot lane from Invictus Gaming needs to be respected here.
Feels like lane swaps actually might be a big thing as well. Both Braum and Alistar like to roam away.
Invictus Gaming are the team that lane swap the least in the LPL.
Well, certainly makes a lot of sense. We'll see how it goes here in game number 1. Let's get onto the Rift. And here we are for our first game in this best of 5 as Edward Gaming are taking on Invictus Gaming, the LPL regional qualifier, as we get closer and closer to clinching our 3 Chinese teams for Worlds. LGD have already made it. They were our summer champions. EDG looking to get there again from last year, and IG would love a revisit after a few. And the winner of this best of 5 will be the second Chinese team through.
And already straight out of the gate, we have a very aggressive invade from EDG, clearing away Kakáo's Nidalee traps right there, so slowing down his jungle speed just a little bit.
Like an easy version of clearing Shaco's Jack in the boxes without the added bonus of dying.
It's just so rude.
Well,
yeah, it is.
It's good to clear out Kakao. He is going to fly through the jungle on this Nidalee. Kakao is one of the most efficient junglers in every possible way, whether it's ganking or farming, as this is very cute from EDG.
Rude.
That is rude. The kid seems to know.
Well, they have wards placed into the bottom of the river, and so because they didn't see EDG exit through those wards, you have to make 2 assumptions. A, they're either standing in a bush, or B, they backed from the inside of the jungle.
Little did they know, if they waited an extra 5 seconds, they would have found themselves Kid and Kitties to open arms.
Oh, Kid and Kitties.
Instead, they might find a lane swap. It seems like Mako and Deft are on the other side of the map. Kakao going to get on this Grump. He'll have a bit of help here. He'll take it away. But he'll get level 2. We'll start the blue off. Quite a bit of usefulness there from the bottom side. And yeah, we are going to have a lane swap.
And not that Kog'Maw and Alistar can't 2v2 against the Ashe. Like you said, you do have to respect the level 1. But I feel like this is more so a denial on the gangplank than it is on trying to 2v2 against Ashe and Braum.
Yeah, and I think in a direct 1 versus 1 scenario, Olaf doesn't do the greatest against the gangplank, but I feel like even EDG here, they just want to get past the level 1 hiccup and maybe even just go back to the standard lanes once they get level 3.
Quickly bounce the wave, yeah.
Seen this a lot with LGD as well. People like to put Kog'Maw into that solo situation, especially if it's safe, but Deft and Mako are going to team up now. They'll zone to tie off a couple waves here, and Deft going to get a nice early start. We'll see if Mako hits 2 and goes for a roam as Deft hits level 2 immediately, and Zataya's out of there. He doesn't want anything to do with that lane.
Should also be noted that Kid in the bottom is getting solo experience because Kitties is roaming with Kakao and crew.
And Kakao's on the top lane. Looking to maybe push them out here. Deft trying to move the minions into the turret. He's building up a big wave. You see clear up an Amazing J. Seems like a tower dive was on the cards, but a very strong read from IG to stop that.
Strong read and early rotation from Invictus Gaming to be there on time. Of course, Braum didn't even actually go for experience in the lane. Didn't stay there to be in the 2v2 scenario with the gangplank. Instead, denies the dive, just recalls immediately, and now they're going to invade the opposition jungle here.
This is actually really dangerous for Kid too, especially as Amazing J gets closer to that level 6. Now, naturally not as scary level 3, but Olaf does fine across from an 80 carry.
Yeah, certainly does, especially one like Ashe.
I mean, we saw this against Snake.
Yep, really did. So we'll see if Amazing J can get that farm, but securing plenty of it now on the bottom side. Zatai also starting to pick up farm as the waves crash in, so looking fine here. as Braum is going to return to the bottom lane as well. Try and zone some people out. And the early items have come out for mid lane. Rookie had a very quick buy as Clearlove eats a spear. Now Cacaw's going to jump in. Good stun there comes in. Clearlove fighting straight in onto Cacao, but the spear will land. Mako wants it. Oh, he messed up the pole. Cacao will pounce away. And a rare misplay from the Alistar.
Is this the patch where the pulverized headbutt combo was slowed down?
I don't remember.
Can't confirm that one. I was looking at other things such as Juggernauts that kind of took my eye in terms of what's more important. But that was really unlucky though from Mako because the combo looked so right and it just didn't work for him in the end. But Cacao, I was about to point out that he is double the CS right now of his opponent. He's already got a back in. So he's doing exceptionally well. And then just goes and does that and almost evens everything out. But he gets away. So all things considered, Cacao still actually ahead.
That's the power of Nidalee. We've seen it time and time again from Swift and Cacao in different games, mostly against each other, as it turns out. But Nidalee just absolutely whizzes through the jungle, and Clearlove, he's going to have to put on pressure here because he just cannot keep up as far as raw farm goes.
No, can't keep up. And I was just going to mention, you said Olaf does quite well in this bot lane, but he
1v1,
does
sure.
way too well in the 1v1, which is why Kitties has to come immediately back to that bottom lane. Once Olaf gets level 4, there is genuine kill pressure if a single axe connects.
No, completely agree. And this is the other thing that I want to talk about as we see how this interaction is happening. So Elise is a great pick into... They fight over that. Cacao did end up getting it. Elise is a great pick into Lee Sin because our Spiderlings can block his Sonic Wave. But likewise, Nidalee as well. You see Clearlove using his Spiderlings to make sure that the spear doesn't tag him.
Cacao now going bottom lane instead. Amazing J could be in trouble. Cacao going to get the pounces down. Needs another spear. Good movement there from Amazing J to get himself into the minion wave. But IG do pressure him off the tower.
Yeah, good movement, but had no buffs remaining. Cacao, he used his buff timing to have a fight in the top lane. So puts down some great damage, not enough to actually find a direct kill for his team, but pressuring off the turret.
And now Clearlove's back in the top side. Might just start pushing. Can't really dive here. Good hawk shot all the way from bottom lane. It's actually going to spot the EDG jungler. But Deft and Mako just pushing things up. Zatai got a defensive barrel set up already. And Clearlove, I don't think he's going for this gank. He already knows there's a barrel there. And they'll move in for the tower.
Just completely zoning Zatai off of it. I want to touch on the hawk shot real quick unless Mako's going to go ham here. There's no reason when you have hawk shot, especially in a 2 versus 1 lane, since he has Kitties available. Kitties whiffing that Q, to not just burn your hawk shot across map. You're able to track the jungler's movements, especially if you do that into Clearlove's jungle and kind of figure out, you know, where is he on his camps, what is he itemizing, things like that.
Yeah, no doubt it was also paranoia from Zatai calling for that hawk shot because there was nowhere else really that the Elise could have been. So very smart play. They recognize that he is there and they get zoned from the turret regardless because the map movements from EDG are forcing these things to happen.
Level 6 now in the mid lane as well as we check in with Rookie and Pawn. CS relatively even. Rookie has that extra Doran's Ring. He's got himself about 10 CS ahead, but Pawn trying to dodge that poke. He'll farm away relatively comfortably. And level 6 for both of them now as well, but Rookie, ever the aggressor, trying to keep him off some of those creeps.
It's funny though. Wow.
Yep, bottom lane dive. Tower in the top lane does die. Amazing J will get stunned. Kid is going to be in trouble with the ulti's out for a gameplay. Kid flashes forward. Kid uses his heal. Amazing J is going to get dove and he will get first blood.
Beautiful play from Kid right there to flash out of the tower range, then use his heal to just walk down Olaf. That was still very close, especially all the resources that were used, the arrow as well as the Gangplank ultimate, but nicely executed from Invictus Gaming.
That was on a tightrope, to say the least. They were very close to falling off the edge. They do execute it pretty near perfect, though, all things considered. So well done there from this Invictus Gaming bottom lane. Don't know how it's going to translate into anything further. It's a nice little buffer for the Ashe, who's now got that Avarice Blade and farming up some gold. And speaking of Avarice Blades, we've got a banking investment loan team here.
Yep.
I love Bank Plank.
The Bank Plank is back, apparently. I think this is the second game Zatai's done it.
He's not going to get the other one.
Okay, but I do want to point out this. So in the first set against Snake, there was like a 17-minute pink ward right into that brush that Clearlove didn't find the entire time, but once he did, so I feel like it just like trained him. Yeah, he had the Raptor sense proc, but...
Revenge as Cacao goes in onto Mako. Will need to pulverize. And Cacao's relentless in this invade. He'll snap up this red buff. And Clearlove just can't do anything. He shared experience with Amazing J to start things off. Cacao got help from his duo lane as a difference. And Clearlove's just finding himself further and further behind.
And that is really important because we just touched on the investment loan laners that are coming out of Invictus Gaming. But if the jungler is winning, if they're keeping tabs at very least on where Clearlove is, then they're not going to die as easily because it's mostly going to be lane one-on-one scenarios. So you keep in mind that Cacao can watch where Clearlove is at the very least, then these Avarice Blades will actually pay off quite well.
Swap back into standard lanes now as well as Pawn. Look at himself a blue buff. He's got a Forbidden Idol. He's got his Codex up as well. So it looks like Morello Nomicon will be the first purchase. But Rookie has the upgrade already for the extra wave clear on his E. Let's get Cacao pops down bottom lane to try and pay a visit to Deft, who's got himself a Sheen and Path of the Fate. So not too far behind here in the bottom lane as we move back into our normal lanes here.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird advantage coming out of this middle lane now I'm looking at it. The fact that Victor is winning this lane is actually indicative of Rookie as a player more than the champion matchup. And we saw it earlier. Azir in a lane, if you use your Q and it's not to an effective manner, you actually lose any trade for the next 3 to 5 seconds until the Q is available again. And every single time that I've seen Korn use the Q to be offensive towards Rookie, Rookie's walked through it so that he cannot auto-attack after the Q connects and then just drops a laser on Pawn.
More in that response there, just walking back. Blue buffs for both mid laners actually, so they'll be pretty happy down there as Deft and Mako trying to fight back these creeps. Kid with that BF sword able to throw out the nice poke. And again, CS pretty even there as well. So things quite quiet after that first dive. It's just about 800 gold up for Invictus Gaming.
This is typically where the power dynamic shifts in this lane. Anytime Kog'Maw is a lane, his level 6 is going to be a power spike because he has his ultimate and the ability to outrange most targets. So Kid doing a good job trying to volley him down, but Deft doing an even better job making sure that he's using the creeps in front of him as a body block.
And that's Cinderhawk done now as well for Clearlove, with the Runeglaive done for Cacao. So expected there for Cacao, is a carry jungler, wants to go aggressive on the Nidalee. For the Cinderhawk for Clearlove, much more expected of Elite players and very indicative of Clearlove's playstyles. Cacao, with all things being quiet, is going to start up the Dragon.
Depends on the Elite player, pastry.
True.
Swift loves his Runeglaive, and it's just like a breath of fresh air to see a tanky Elise with a team that needs that secondary. It doesn't need the secondary tank, but it's the way that Clearlove plays with the team. Would be better off being that tanky champion. So.
Likewise, their only tank really some superficial tankiness that Alistair's ultimate is going to grant them.
So, looking again, nice and quiet, 100 CS for both bottom laners here. So we haven't even seen movement really towards the big objective. Cacao had kind of a look at the Dragon.
There's something going on in the top lane.
There is indeed a dive in the top lane, and Amazing J finds himself dead again.
Finds himself real dead, real deep. Not quite sure what he was thinking extending that far over.
Well, he's got his ulti down. He didn't have his flash. I'm going to take a wild guess. So he tried to chase down Zatai.
There's one thing that I have seen Amazing J do in this game. It is win or lose, he's 1v1ing you. And it just in this case, it was a loss. And we'll touch back in 3 minutes when he does the exact same thing again.
He'll be back.
More at 11.
Moving to, I think, the Black Cleaver once again with that phage built up already. Now, again, he's back. He'll use his teleport, so he doesn't have it now.
That's actually pretty
massive.
massive.
Dragon fight.
Yeah, not having that cooldown available now that Dragon especially is in play. We already saw Cacao try to pull the trigger on that.
Might feel a little bit better about going there now as Zatai's also returned. He's got himself a fade, so a bit stronger now for any potential lane or fight situation as Rookie going to clear those creeps out. He's still got that 10 CS lead. But the mid laners seem to be backing now, making sure they've got that vision down. And again, gearing up for that first major fight. Apart from Amazing J, who got himself Dove and then Dove himself.
Yeah.
They're the only 2 kills in this game so far.
This is actually a massive misstep from Invictus Gaming. They had a window of opportunity where they could have pulled the trigger on the Dragon just because they saw that Pawn had initiated the back. Rookie does follow him and get his own back in, but they were in position to collapse onto that Dragon, especially with the TP cooldown. But instead, they let EDG get their foot back onto the objective.
And not only that, they allowed Def to come back to
with
bottom
the Trinity
lane with
Force.
an entire Trinity Force at 13 minutes completed. So they don't have the teleport on Amazing J, but I honestly don't think it even matters now, because if you get hit by Def, you're going to die, and it's probably not worth going for the Dragon.
Good smite there from Clearlove on the Wolf, I believe. Does spot Cacao warding that blue buff, so Cacao will leave that jungle. Clearlove in the bottom lane now, though, trying to get some work done, but a pink ward up there in that brush for IG. It has not been spotted yet by Mako. Mako!
Get in the bush.
Nope. Doesn't want it. Wants to push instead.
It's really saddening. It's like it's right there.
Def,
oh,
is he going to see it?
Oh.
There we go.
Don't need to walk in bushes when you have
I'm
wards.
just waiting for the arrow to slap him in the face.
That'd
Come on, kid, just throw it.
Then Meiko has to flash in it to block the bullet.
Oh.
Ulti out of it. Oh, there are so many opportunities. But instead, we've had just Kakao invading once more. They've got a lead up here. The spear's good. And the smite's better from Clearlove. Just gets his blue buff.
Kakao just trying to be rude.
Yeah, honestly, he is just trying to keep tabs on Clearlove. He's just being super rude, as you mentioned. But the fact that he is, I guess, keeping paranoia about for Clearlove. He can't go make these aggressive decisions because he knows the Nidalee is always just waiting in the wings.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because this is what Clearlove does to other junglers, except instead of on an aggressive jungle like Nidalee, he often does it on something like Rek'Sai or even Nunu when he played that. But the story is the same. Good ult there from Def to spot Kitties in the brush. But the idea is, again, just keep your very strong laners into comfortable farming spaces and then win in the mid to late game. And if that's what both teams are doing, hard to see which team's going to come out with that first edge.
It would feel like it'll be the Trinity Force team. Just for all intents and purposes, it's like a theoretical standpoint. The guys with the Trinity Forces, they spike pretty hard in the mid game. The Morello's also done for the Azir, so fast tracking, I guess, the mid game spike that he is looking for relative to the rest of his team. It'll be very interesting considering there's going to be equal amounts of Trinity Forces.
Kakao is doing such a great job, though, kind of answering that mid-game power spike because he's being so relevant. Even though he's not transitioning any of his pressure into kills or ganks kind of within the last 5 minutes, the fact that he's constantly there, appearing on vision, forcing EDG to play defensively because Clearlove's not in position to counter.
You have to just keep doing that, but Amazing J actually got a nice lead building in the top lane as well. 30 CS ahead of Zetai's. He's going to go back and finish an item here. Might just have the Kindle Gem. It's actually a Giant's Belt that he takes instead. So once there's those immediate tanky stats.
Oh, please tell me that's the Dead Man's Plate.
It might be.
It looks to be the Dead Man's Plate. He's got the cloth armor.
And I feel like because he's heading towards the mid lane, this is EDG pulling the trigger on the dragon.
Well, seems to be. We've got Trinity Force. Clearlove is already going to start at a hawk shot. Will spot things up there for Kid. Zetai is already in position. Amazing J can come down as well. This could be a first 5v5.
Amazing J was walking, so he's decided to kind of just beat around the bush. The arrow.
Good cleanse from Pawn. Have to be careful. Meiko bops him out. The dragon is low. Who's going to get it? It is going to be Clearlove, but he's so low from the GP ulti. As Amazing J is down in there. He's poured it in, but he has to run now. Rookie trying to run it, but ulti flashes in. Ult goes up. Pawn surfs past him. Kai keeps him out with the ultimate as well. Now Deft has to flash up. Meiko did go down. He's a casualty as Pawn is going to be the second. The double there now for Rookie as IG going to keep running that tower. No good defense as Deft. He's stayed, but I think he's tried to pick off a little too much. The tie is going to get low, but he pops the oranges. The damage is just not enough. And IG pick up much needed kills.
IG, they commit to the Baron here, Edward Gaming, but they commit so many resources that the Gangplank could just drop the ultimate and destroy their health bars. All it took was then Rookie to do his very typical Rookie style and just flash over a wall and destroy everyone. The rest of the team's only there to follow that up, and that was a really seamless decision here from Invictus Gaming.
And you don't think of Victor as a flanking style of champion, but that was just so gorgeous from Rookie to come over the side and drop the Chaos Storm. But the AoE stacking, we talked about why do the LPL teams love AoE style champions, fighting on terrain, getting those choke points. The Gangplank ultimate, the Chaos Storm, the Gravitational Field, all of those were perfectly placed to lead Invictus Gaming to victory in that team fight.
Just thinking about it more.
Oh, too many Gs.
That Gangplank ulti was so disgusting.
Yeah.
That was like a Rumble tier influence on that dragon fight.
Well, that's the best thing, is it's like a lesser version of Rumble to a degree. It's a circular area, which is perfect for Baron and Dragon, whereas the Rumble is like, you want to run from the Dragon, then you have to walk through my equalizer, similar to that. But Gangplank, we'll call it more reliable, but less impactful.
Sure, and certainly enough of impact there, as Deft is going aggressive on Kid in the bottom lane. He's got that Trinity Force. He's still getting stronger as Clearlove's going to sneak down here as well. Arrow lands, hits on the Meiko. Ult there from Gangplank as Deft trying to kite his way back, but it's 3v3. Spear will just miss. Kitties will die. Kakao might be the next target as Victor's down here as well. Kakao will flash out. Damage is being done as Clearlove. He dives in. He tries to peel up the kills, but that's 3 kills for Kid actually as he gets the triple.
And yet again, it was as simple as the Gangplank ultimate. Zones Deft, makes him walk towards the edge of the circle, and only then he starts to look for these attacks. They get some kills. He gets a single kill, sorry, so plays it as well as he possibly can, but these areas of control, these zones that Invictus Gaming are placing down, is making it near impossible for Edward Gaming to have an answer.
And Invictus Gaming, again, finding the better rotation as well. Kakao with the mobility, and Rookie beating Pawn to a team fight back-to-back.
And it's usually Pawn that does like to roam out, but Klilev can't apply that same pressure. Pawn feels, honestly, a little bit, quite a lot pressured by Rookie, who's so good at being aggressive in his lanes. He is getting stronger. He's Azir. He'll be fine along with that Kog'Maw and Olaf, but might take a little too long here for EDG, as they're already 5,000 gold behind.
The question now becomes, with Kid on this Ashe sitting 4-0-2 as Kiddies look to contest this red buff, can Kid carry Invictus Gaming? Normally we look at Rookie, we look at Kakao, and yeah, Rookie and Kakao are still setting the pace and they're creating the control alongside Zetai's Gangplank ultimates, but all of the gold, all of the pressure is on Kid's shoulders.
Certainly is. Got a massive score and a good amount of CS to boot. Zetai is getting stronger as well, though. About 20 CS down of Amazing J, but does have the Trinity Force and the Avarice Blade still. And Rookie will only continue to ramp. So there are plenty of threats on IG, that's for sure. We haven't seen them get in a protracted siege just yet, but their pressure around objectives, again in static areas. Good dodge from Def. But Kakao's down here now as well. Another good dodge. And in a very long lane with no tier 1 tower, Def will actually live.
Jeff looks so good sometimes, just like unbelievably good. The fact that EDG went to MSI was pretty much entirely on the shoulders of Def and just his crazy, unreal, quirky performance. So today seems to be one of those days where Def's just going to play out of his mind.
Having a great day for sure, but needs to step up here. Maybe both AD carries are where we look to put their teams through the next few minutes. Amazing J. Having a lot of fun. Throws an axe there at Zetai. And dragging up in a minute 35. Baron alive now, but probably not an objective for the next 5 minutes or so. So we'll look to this next big objective on the map. First Dragon did go to EDG, so they still have control there. But it feels like they're just ramping. The Dead Man's Plate's done. The items are still coming out as the build ward is completed for Deft as well. But IG, they've looked so good in those last 2 team fights. So how do EDG respond in a 5v5 situation?
Just create space for this little Kog'Maw to take off and to spread his wings. Kog'Maw will have an earlier power spike than Ashe. That said, she's a little bit ramped ahead of the clock just because she has so much kill gold forced into her, but you still have the combo of Azir ultimate creating space for Kog'Maw to just rock them. And again, Deft is playing really well.
That's the best thing about this EDG team comp, is if they get into a team fighting stage on equal footing, then Amazing J can just run at Kid. There is nothing an Ashe can do. That was the purpose of the pick. And what makes this even better is Phage gives move speed on hit. Deadman's played at 100 momentum, gives a 75% slow that decays. Like, you need that as Ola, to say the least, to catch an Ashe of all people with your ultimate available. So there's no way that Kid can get away from Amazing J without killing him.
I guess it's just a matter of what do EDG do after that, as Kakao is going to move Mako off this pink ward and clear that vision around again, dragging up 15 seconds now.
The one bright spot that Invictus Gaming do have, if Amazing J decides to chase down Kid, is you're still running pretty much a quadruple threat composition because you also have Kakao on Nidalee in the jungle. So if this Ashe does go down, you're still dealing with the massive AoE of Zetai and Rookie, and then the assassination and janitor potential from Kakao.
And this brings it all back to the fact that Kid, he does need to step up and he does need to carry, but to carry for his team, he essentially just needs to live
Hit the arrow
for a prolonged period of time and make sure that he's one big spell connects, as you said, the arrow.
Well, Kakao is on top of a ward, but no one can stop this dragon. Nidalee, a very comfortable solo there, as IG will get themselves the first dragon, and still sitting pretty on a nice gold lead, close to the 6,000 gold up now.
Yeah, just really out of posture and sorts for EDG, and now fish in a barrel.
Yep, that's the Nidalee classic, because Kakao doesn't actually have that many items just yet. Got himself a Sightstone sort of between AP items, and Magus not an item anymore, Ringglaive instead, so needs to get a little bit more up close and personal, but still looking good here. As Def will clear out the Krugs, and people again from EDG just shopping, sort of letting things happen. Might be waiting for a big Baron fight. That's been a signature of EDG's play all year long, but it feels like IG are the ones that are playing with all the momentum.
Yeah, they're waiting for more than anything. Anything else, they're just waiting for the Blade of the Ruined King for the Kog'Maw. So far behind in terms of items that if you were to look to fight right now, you would destroy Edward Gaming if you're Invictus. So they need to show respect. It's 1-8. The score and the gold difference is huge. So They just need to farm. They need to try and make picks, make small plays. They've got the Elise to get the picks, the Azir, even the Alistar to a degree. So they don't want to look for team fights. And against this side of Invictus Gaming, it's pretty hard to not look for team fights when they can all be there immediately.
This is why you see them trying to posture and find some sort of footing to trade objectives. Unfortunately for EDG in this particular instance, the threat of an Invictus Gaming pick and flank from the side, especially with the arrow available, does force them to back off the tower. But EDG are just looking at the map, you know, if IG are on the top side, can we quickly sneak a bottom tier tower? If they commit to their blue or the red buff, can we quickly run into mid and start chipping away at that?
This is a very reactive play for EDG so far, which makes sense. Again, still ramping up here as IG are the ones with all the leads. Infinity Edge completed now for Zatai. Void Staff done for Kakao. And about 2.5 items, or maybe 2 there for Rookie, with the Hex Gold number 2, need to see a large one, and a Morello Normicon to go with those cooldown boots. So those 4 carries, only getting better here for IG.
Yeah, there's no slowing down from here. With every respective item that comes out from now, it's only getting stronger. So EDG, they do scale themselves. It's just that at this current moment, there is no way for them to fight without being in a very uphill battle type of scenario. So they look towards their second item spikes, maybe try and...
They need that Rylai's.
Yeah, maybe try and get some big team fights behind their next big items, just to try and... If they initiate the fight well, they make 1 pick onto a carry, and there's only 3 remaining. And they're not building tanky stats, they're building damage. So if you make a pick, they die quick.
Certainly do, as Pawn actually finished as Zhonya's as his next major item to sit in with that Morello Normicon and Stinger. QSS, the next one for Deft, who feels very, I guess, forced into this particular sort of build because he knows how many threats are there on the IG side. Does not want to eat an arrow and not be able to get out, despite how good his dodges have been this game.
I feel like Azanya's Hourglass is prioritizing pick potential from your Azir just because you're trying to Azir sec and then look into your Hourglass, as opposed to just elongated team fights and the sustain that the Rylai's Crystal Scepter will give you, and more importantly give depth. So kind of curious about Pawn's itemization. We'll see if this play pays off. He is a very big playmaking mid laner.
Yeah. Comes down to a lot of pressure though. He no doubt is feeling like he needs to do something big for his team in these fights. So changes his itemization to suit being that big playmaker, being able to use his own after the ultimate.
You can see where EDG's current prospects lie though. Good vision there around the Baron. Although a nice sneaky ward from IG is walked over by both Clearlove and Deft. IG going to group themselves up, try and knock down the mid lane turret where they've got a bit of a window. But Azir's going to return. Deft's here as well, clearing things out. So going to be tricky with these decent wave clear on both sides to get these mid lane turrets. In fact, they're still standing. It's been the outer turrets that have been the most successful. But honestly, just kills here once again. It's been a bloodthirsty LPL regional qualifier.
Welcome to the mid lane of Azir Victor. You'll never take my tower ever.
Pretty much.
As long as I'm alive.
What a way through.
It's literally the definition of over my dead body.
I like even the AD carries actually aren't too bad as well. Static Shiv Ashe in particular. Looking good there for Kid. Minute 35 though for that 3rd dragon.
Yeah, and Kid is so far ahead that he's prioritizing a Bloodthirster 3rd item just because there's pretty much 0 armor on the side of EDG stacked right now.
Yeah, I mean, Amazing J has that
you
black
got some,
cleaver.
you got some Pumas and that's about it.
Yeah. Sweet shoes.
Some Ninja Tabi.
That's Amazing J. Again, he will be that big anti-carry threat for Kid in particular, but needs to get more items. Look for maybe Randuin's Omen, probably a popular choice here on this patch. As Rylai's has actually done up for Rookie, that mid lane item. Like you talked about for Azir, actually over onto Victor instead.
They swap role.
Yeah.
If you want to pick, or I want to poke and team fight and siege, that's actually good for the Victor because sieging is what their team comp is very strong at doing, and it has a lot of control in terms of zones. Wherever he places a spell down, you're slow.
But this is what we talked about. EDG, you know, they're stalling out Invictus Gaming, and for the last 6 minutes kind of in between these Dragon windows, Invictus Gaming really haven't gotten to pressure their momentum and their lead that they've created. So this last 6 minutes I actually think went in favor of EDG. You know, they managed to finally trade a tower. They were able to just continue to hoover up all of these all of the gold from the creep waves into their mouse, you know, start stacking up their 3rd itemization choices. So IG slowing down a little bit. We see if it starts to pick up again in 16 seconds.
I agree. Gold lead still sitting at 6k up there for IG as Kid eats a huge chunk of damage there from Pawn.
Man, just imagine if I had a Rylai's.
think it would have been a direct kill. Let's be reasonable here.
No, but it would have slowed her down.
Rookie picking up the slack with the Rylai's game, though.
I got you, Rookie.
Well, this might be a fight here for EDG. I don't know if they want to fight.
I love that zone.
They might now.
Well, Clearlove does get chunked out. The Dragon goes to Cacao. Mako's diving in. He tries for Rookie, but a nice flash is going to keep him out. Amazing J is jumped on the Kid in the backlines. Kid has to flash, but Amazing J, oh, he will get the kill. He snipes it out. He flashes out of the way. He might actually be all right, but Cacao is here absolutely not all right at all. But a trade there is not bad for EDG.
And EDG have better posturing onto this mid-tier tower, except here comes the tie.
Has to save the tower. Might look for a dive, but the tie very scary. Rookie going to come in as well. He's still got full health. Mako goes back in. He pops his ulti. Huge damage show on the backside as Cacao has taken out the Alistar. Deft kiting as best he can. Cacao gets knocked back out. Kitties gets knocked out as well. And EDG, they're so low on health. But IG just can't quite finish them off.
Azir's just too good. Invictus Gaming, their one weakness is apparently an impassable wall. They could have flashed over to the other side even, but they had to choose going over that Azir. And they actually find it.
The arrow.
It's coming down.
It
Not going to hit. Close though, and the tower does go to IG. But they do actually pick up the objectives, all things considered.
This is one of my favorite things to point out, though, between the Azir and the Victor matchup. The fact that Victor really doesn't care about Azir's Emperor's Divide, which is why we see a lot of Victors picked into Azir, because Azir throws up his Emperor's Divide. Victor's like, that's cool, mate. I'm just going to laser and drop my Chaos Storm on the other side. So yeah, it created space and separated the team fight and kept Def safe to an extent, but EDG still had to give up that team fight because Victor's damage and his reach is just too strong.
And there was one small detail that would have probably killed all of the EDG members is Gangplank used his Q on a keg when it had 2 health left. And that keg would have killed them.
Awkward.
Very close. Super close, and it looked so right. It just didn't time it right.
Not quite there. Gangplank, I think a champion. A lot of people might still be learning here in the LPL. This is Pawn does get his blue buff. He's level 16 now. Seems to be building an Abyssal Scepter, I think, there with that Negatron Cloak. And again, the items are just still coming up for EDG. They've got 2 good carries. Amazing Day did his job in the last team fight, killing Kid. And he's got a Spirit Visage up now as well. But IG might have too much of a gold lead as they do start the Baron, but nice Scrying Orb's going to get them off it.
This is a little bit risky.
So they'll just reset back for Vision. Good little keg trail there, but Mako is able to dodge that out. Looking for a ward over the top, does not see one. And again, EDG, they've been buying a lot of time, but have a little less structures now to defend. And IG are very hungry for this Baron.
Buying time, but they're also being bled out. You can see Baron pretty much just done immediately. They've got complete control of the area.
Damage. I mean, EDG are going to see them, but it might be too late. Baron almost low. He's going to go down by the looks of things. IG will get it as Clearlove has to back away. The teleport's coming down. Mako's popped his ulti. Clearlove's a little too low. Ties the target. Deft on the backside might go and get it. Does go down. Paul with a great Sonya's. Huge damage there in the backline. Deft, he gets himself a double kill, and EDG, they get the ace.
That was almost entirely Pawn just going huge there. Amazing J does so much damage. It is absurd to consider. He's yelling right now, Bromacia. Loving his life. And this all came down again. Pawn on that Azir ultimate, keeping them locked inside the Baron pit. The flashes weren't available for any members of Invictus Gaming. Doing the Baron was fine, but this is risky.
Look at where the Gangplank ultimate goes down, however. It's used right on top of the choke point because they assume that EDG are going to walk away. So Def forces down Zatai right there, but that's the massive AoE ultimate that would fit perfect on this Baron pit that is wasted trying to zone out the Kog'Maw when Azir just comes in and is like, I'm trapped. You're not trapped in here with me. I'm trapped in here with you.
Yep, and EDG get crucial towers. They push 2 down in the mid lane and wipe IG to clean that Baron buff off. Still behind in gold by a reasonable amount. Still floating around that 6K mark, but that's a big boost in confidence for the team. And they might be thinking right now we can start to win these big team fights.
They honestly can. It's just coming down to execution at this point because they've got the damage items that's required. As you mentioned, the Gangplank ult needs to be where the fight is actually taking place because it honestly does a sleeper amount of damage. And while we're talking about that champion, there's one big debate about where you actually build on Gangplank now. What is the most efficient style? Because crit is super important. The only guaranteed item build is the Infinity Edge Trinity Force. The other one's a wildcard style of item, such as the Ghost Blade, which is actually really good.
Looking good there as Kid did use his ultimate, by the way. I saw a stray arrow stream across the minimap. Golden Kid and Kitties.
They're just bowling IG out, just shepherding them around the map as EDG are getting superior posturing down this mid lane.
Amazing J chugged the red pot. They want to fight right now. We're dragging up in a minute. EDG finally able to show some strength here despite the gold deficit. And IG will back up for the first time in this game.
Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. That's sure to be the next big point of contention as I'm sure Death will create a slow push down here on the bottom.
EDG going to try and keep their vision in. IG have to be careful. They're very squishy, don't forget. They've got great damage if they can find a pick or move their carries onto the right targets. But the tanks are starting to get stronger for EDG. The carries are doing good damage now as well. IG might have full carries, but they have to put them in the right spots.
Olaf is so scary right now.
Deft in trouble, actually. Does get aggressed on the ultimate. Hits there, but Amazing J going to dive in with Pawn. They'll get the first kill onto Zatai. Amazing J's not done. He's going to keep diving in. Now Mako's coming around the backside. He gets a double. Might make it 3 as Kakao. He'll flash out. Now Rookie, he's the next target. The ulti's one off, but the damage is just there. A good flash from Rookie. Locks up 2. Laser almost good enough for a kill. But Olaf.
Yeah. The one thing that can take down this Invictus Gaming side was picked into the Ash, and this comes down to how you engage team fights. If EDG are scattered, it actually favors them. Invictus Gaming need to put down poke, they need to set up around areas, use the gangplank cakes, and chunk out people before a fight begins. If Pawn can get onto a backline and chunk them, Amazing J will slaughter them.
What did you say, Frostgreen, at the very top of this game? IG have a siege comp. How many sieges have we really seen from Invictus Gaming?
And on the same token as that, EDG have a dive composition, and repeatedly they're able to get down onto that backline. Again, Kid was kind of your big breadwinner this time around. Was 4-0 for a very early part of this game. Now sitting 5-3-5, so not picking up too much gold after that. But EDG, they had the perfect answer to a fed Ashe, and it's in that Olaf.
And Olaf is very scary at this stage. Yeah. We've got the Dead Man's Plate, we've got Black Cleaver, Spirit Visage, and Aranduin's almost completed. And even Clearlove, again, you see the difference in having that Cinderhulk at least for a bigger tank line. Frozen Heart, Locket, Cinderhulk, and a Giant's Belt for Clearlove. He's a man that loves himself a Warmogs, and that's even better on this patch as well.
Invictus Gaming want to actually come out ahead in this game. They need to stop fighting for objectives, stop forcing fights for objectives, and set up vision, set up control.
Make picks.
And slowly, again, yes, make picks and just control what is actually going to happen on the battlefield. If the Olaf runs at them, they're dead. But if they can chunk the Olaf out with a gangplank barrel, if they can poke him down with the Nidalee spears and prevent him from getting to Kid, then they're in a fantastic position. They just haven't executed on that right yet.
The Randuin's is now done for Amazing J. We've got an Abyssal completed for Pawn as well, and Deft is creeping up towards 3 offensive items finally. EDG again. We do have a lull in the action still as the teams are jostling for position, but EDG are the ones that are sticking on IG's half of the rift, whereas honestly the first 25 minutes of this game, maybe more, were all played on EDG's half. So they've gotten to the second dragon, they've equalized that. The Baron's going to be back up in about a minute 30. And if we're looking at these 5v5s, we have to favor EDG. So what do IG do from this point?
I think you're either looking for a massive pick, so the arrow coming up huge, or exactly like Rusty said, you know, move into the Baron area, start to set down your vision, get control of that terrain, use the Gangplank ultimate correctly, and try to get on top of an objective before a 5v5 breaks out.
Just control. Just show some reservations about the actions that you want to make and stop playing into the hands of EDG.
Ooh, Zatai.
Does a bit of damage.
Does do a bit of damage, certainly. 3 offensive items. And now Spirit Visage also completed. Def will dodge out a spear. EDG moving in for this tower is Amazing. J's life-stealing very nicely. Gangplank's wave clear pretty good under these towers, but EDG will brute force it as Pawn eats a massive amount of damage. The ulti's out as well. They're going to try and pick him off.
Where is this Ashe arrow?
There's no need. Look who's in front of the...
No, I mean, like, at that point, naturally, it's just going to hit the Alistar, but should have pulled the trigger there, I think.
Well, Pawn will have to go back after that smashing from Gangplank. Zatai again does do good damage. It's just we haven't seen it in the team fights yet, I feel like. Good ult there again from Def to clear out a ward. He's got Bloodthirster completed now as well, so a bit tankier from a lot of the burst damage. And there is a lot of burst damage coming out of IG. And Baron is up in 8 seconds now.
Let's not forget that Kog'Maw is a signature pick for Deft here.
Yeah, he's got double life still out of his spell. So Deft is going to be a monster in these fights. And he's not the point of focus for any of these members. The Gangplank ultimate used to zone him almost exclusively in fights. So in a very comfortable position here, Deft. The rest of EDG's front line, they're pretty cozy as well. As you can see, Amazing Jake doesn't really care about anything.
He's just not taking damage right now. And EDG are the ones that will get themselves in good aggressive positions around this Baron. But like Fresco said about that Kog'Maw, in the LGD series, Kog'Maw was an instrumental pick for him in LGD's sweep. And even though Deft had a game on it, didn't look the same. Deft has certainly looked back in top form in this particular series, but Zatai, he's poking them out. EDG are committed now to this Baron. Amazing J will fly! Oh my god, he stole the Baron with the ulti!
Wow, all of this effort from EDG, the forcing of the Baron, has completely backfired for them. Now 7k gold behind and the Baron.
That is massive. The fact that Clearlove was sitting on a leash, so you have the execution from the Q as well as the smite available. Just a massive mechanical error right there from EDG. And for the next 4 minutes, the duration of the Baron buff, Invictus Gaming have a pause.
Well, we wonder what IG needed to do to get themselves more initiative in this game. Steal the Baron wasn't on the list, to be fair, but certainly is now, because EDG will have to play defensively once more.
Did he steal it with a barrel or with the ultimate?
I think it was an ulti tick. Clearlove just didn't smite, from what I could tell, because I'm pretty sure I looked back and he still had it there, ready and waiting.
These things happen.
They do.
No, these things happen, but that was still, again, Zatai was trying his best to steal it, chunked them out. EDG committed to taking down that Baron. So you're right, a big mechanical misplay from Clearlove. EDG, they're still not out of this battle. In fact, the balance might have tipped slightly towards Invictus Gaming, but if they can't make this Baron work, then really nothing gained.
Like I said, I feel like this Baron is actually just a pause, really, for Invictus Gaming, for them to kind of figure out, how we're setting up over these objectives. It at least slows down the advancement that EDG are making in the series. Dragon is going to be spawning in the next 13 seconds. So again, can IG, with the power of the Baron, shove out these waves, get to the objective first, lay down their vision, and start setting up for team fights?
Well, we're going to get to this one first. EDG cannot stop this one, because that tier 2 tower will melt. Pawn is trying to clear these out, but Azir can't do it on his own. The rest of his team needs to come out. They're actually looking for a flank. Mako's going to come in. Pawn will slap them around. Huge damage here as Amazing J gets kill number 1. Clearlove will die there as Mako's getting low as well. But Amazing J's going absolutely ballistic in the back lines. And Deft is trying to play clean up. Rookie going to turn it back around. Zatai and Rookie do so much damage. But EDG win that fight 3-1.
They win the fight 3-1, but they only keep, as mentioned earlier, the pause, the lull in action is going to continue. They get a turret for their troubles here in Invictus Gaming. They do not prioritize the Dragon. They are a siege comp, so I really did like that they went for the siege. But yet again, EDG, they pull the trigger before there's any type of siege scenario that can take place, and they take Invictus Gaming down.
You can see Zatai, a bit of a mechanical error there as well. We've seen a lot of that today, trying to go for that triple barrel setup for Gangplank. Not the easiest thing to time in the world. Is EDG are going to chase down a kill here. Zatai, he's so low, the face of the mountain's out. Oranges will keep him safe for now, but Dragon is back up, and that's EDG's objective.
100% going to go to EDG. There's nothing they can do, but again, the Dragons don't feel like the priority from this Invictus Gaming side, but the over-aggression, way too overzealous in their advance towards the EDG base, they pay for it.
Just lose a bunch of time on that Baron buff. We talked about it as a pause. Going to cut that time possibly in half, if not more, here as IG. Going to have to take another look. It feels like everything they've thrown at EDG in the last 20 minutes, including that arrow,
and the
have just not really connected.
No, that connected.
Nailed it. Amazing Jill, chill out. Gonna run back out of the base.
What stopped me from walking?
That's really unfortunate.
Very comical though. That Wolf will get taken out as well.
Oh,
Baron
wow.
not quite up just yet. Good blue invade there from IG. Looks like Rookie will collect that buff for himself.
It's just difficult here for Invictus Gaming. They found themselves with this big lead, but then team comps became a bigger factor than anything else. They don't have a designated tank besides the Braum, and it's really difficult for Braum to tank multiple members of this side. Amazing J, there's nothing they can do to stop it, and Cacau's on a Nidalee, so all he can do is heal someone.
You hit the nail on the head by identifying the fact that Invictus Gaming haven't gotten to Siege within the last, I mean, obviously the last time they had Baron they got to Siege, but before that 10 minutes had gone by and they hadn't really approached tower. Pastry making the observation that suddenly you're playing more defensively on IG's side, so I think that's the biggest issue.
The gold lead's still there for IG, up about 6,000 gold still. In fact, that's been the gold lead for about 25 minutes or so, I want to say. But EDG, the comp's just there. 4 items for Cog, 4 items for Pawn. So many items for Amazing J, who's doing a lot of heavy lifting on the back lines of fights. And Clearlove is massively tanky as well. Again, we've seen it time and time again in these big, straight-up fights that EDG are forcing over these objectives. IG, they've got some tools, but it's just not the same.
This Azir is full build.
That Nash's upgrade, but yeah, pretty much.
Mate, Zephyr.
Oh, here it comes. It's actually not the worst.
It's actually the best
Yeah.
because it gives tenacity.
Yeah. Well, IG are poking them at least. You can see more of what their comp's trying to do. They're looking for a flank here, but not really what you want to be doing against EDG. Nice turret there from Azir, and they're going to push down for this inhib.
There's no way for Invictus Gaming to get there without walking through the sensor.
There's the ulti. Clearlove tanks the Ash Arrow, though. They're going to have to come the way back in. Kegs are out. Hits damage on the Clearlove and Mako. Amazing J's going to have to run out as well. Kegs are still there. Damage is massive. Kiddies takes out Clearlove, and Amazing J pops his ulti and runs away. He's far too low. And now Rookie going to chase in. Mako, damage is there, but he'll be alive. Pawn will barely live as well. And the Azir ulti just keeps Invictus Gaming out.
A big misstep from EDG right there. They split up.
Oh, Def wants it. He's going to chase in. Amazing J tags him with a slow. Damage is good. They'll get the trade, but now Def out of position. Keg not quite there for Gangplank. As Def's going to keep cutting back. Shoots the Q. Still going around. Mako down in here as well. Trying to fight them in, but there are so many carries. Def, he's trying to make a massive play, but it was far too much, and IG get a lot more than they asked for.
More than one massive misstep there from EDG. Yet again, Invictus Gaming, they make a lot of pressure-oriented picks, and now they've got 5 members dead with 50 seconds remaining. 20 seconds on Clearlove, the only person who can come back alive. IG can end.
And they're going to 10 seconds up for Clearlove, and that's not nearly enough time. The tower damage is massive. They'll clear out one. Clearlove might not even live to see the Nexus die, and IG, after a misstep from EDG, will take the first game.
This looks very reminiscent of EDG's dive in their first game against LGD in the playoffs that pretty much snowballed the entire downfall. Again, separating there. Half the team of EDG going around into Invictus Gaming's red jungle while the other half ran down the mid lane. IG made the correct picks and just collapsed onto EDG.
We talked about the 4 carries. That man there's the tie, doing huge damage on the Gangplank. I felt like EDG could have pushed down mid lane, could have disengaged from the last fight.
They just needed to stay together.
Yeah, no, they honestly needed to stay grouped as 5. They split off, they got picked for it. Kitties with the Braum ultimate secured that first kill, and that was what got the ball rolling for them. And it all came down to that one moment. Keep in mind, both of these teams pretty much max build. The loss was from decision making, and that could rock EDG.
It could. You talked about it already. The LGD EDG game. That was a bit different. They were ahead and then just dived in late game and got themselves wiped. They spent so long getting themselves back into this game. To lose at that point like that is crushing for EDG, but they have to push themselves back up. They got 3 to 4 more games to play.
You saw it on Clearlove's face right there as he just kind of shakes his head to himself. Meanwhile, Rookie looking fantastic after that comeback victory, but that is a devastating way to lose. And again, LGD versus EDG, when we saw them dive that middle inhibitor and it just came down to Pawn's face, it was almost like immediate crashing and burning.
It's hard to know what to say after that. But EDG, some rare mistakes from them. It's been weird to see them lose because I feel like a lot of their initial games are just making careless mistakes. That's not what we're used to seeing from this team. And certainly their IG loss in particular just got outplayed. They certainly looked very downtrodden after losing to LGD. It's a 3rd, 4th place playoff match. I can understand the mentality there. But they know they have to win this to get themselves in a world. They don't want to play tomorrow. So to start your best of 5 like that, we always talk about momentum in long sets. That's a momentum breaker.
And honestly, there were so many carries from this Invictus Gaming side, but you have to look one more time at the Gangplank, because if it was any other champion, they would have been able to siege that mid lane. They would have forced down the turret or forced a rotation around from Invictus Gaming. But they just dropped the Gangplank ultimate. You have to walk away, walk out of that because
it's a rumble
ridiculous.
ult.
Yeah.
It clears creep waves. It has he's the new Rumble.
He kind of does. Honestly, he actually kind of does
Rumble.
feel like the new Rumble in a lot of ways. I guess we'll get a bit more insight into just that, though. Let's pop out into the war room with